Hey YouTube. Well, today I'm going to start working on the shower, the tub area. Now this is the tub, and if you haven't seen a naked RV tub before, they are pretty flimsy plastic. At least they put some foam along the bottom as a solid base. But so what I've done is, you'll see around the perimeter I've got supports. There's a short wall in the front as a support. I set the tub in place, figured out where the hole was, got lucky as it missed the floor joists. And if you're wondering why this is red, this is a waterproofing membrane. There's a couple of coats on it. So what I'm going to do is put a bead of adhesive around on the walls, and so all along that lip I'll put some adhesive, and then I'm going to spray some this large gap filler great stuff foam all around, and set the tub down into it. So that'll give it a little bit more structural support, but it's basically going to be around the edges, and I'm going to pile all kinds of weight in so that it doesn't scoop. I'm going to leave room for it to expand, but so anyway, yeah, that's the plan for today. So let me get some gloves on. I get some nitrile gloves to put on, because if you've ever worked with this stuff, it sticks to everything. So let me get that set up, and we'll get this place. Before I put it in though, I did put in the drain, so that's a lot easier to do it here than it is once it's down in place. Because here I can get both sides, and obviously once it's in place, I can only touch the top or the bottom, but not both. Oh yeah, and if you're wondering about what that tube is down there, that is so that we can have a diesel cab heater up front with a tank in the back. And rather than run it all the way underneath, we're doing it this way. It's behind the tub, it's out of the way, and it gives us an access to get from one side to the other. All right, so I'm going to continue on here with the shower. She wanted walls, and so I put up cedar framework around the shower, so she'll be able to have the shower curtain up above here, and place for hooks or whatever, hang your loofah. Now the walls I'm going to line with cedar. You have to look at that big red wall. I'm going to line it with cedar tongue and groove, which is what all this is stacked up here. And I'm going to do it one row at a time, so that each row on the three walls is out of the same board. And if you'll notice, this one is darker than a lot of the other ones. Some of these are quite light colored, like this. So I'm going to try to pair up a light one, a dark one, a light one up, band about shoulder high. I think that's sort of like an accent strip. I think that'll look nice. So now I'm going to take this very slow, one at a time. So a lot of this depends on very accurate measurements, and you're trying to get inside corners. A lot of people do this. The trouble is, it looks like, is that 39 and a half, or is that 39 and 5/8, or not exactly sure. So the best way to do this is to come out from a corner and measure out some distance. I'm going to go 10 inches because it's an easy add. So I got a mark here at 10 inches. So I measure from the other corner and find out that at that 10 inch, it's 29 and a half. So I know this measurement is 39 and a half. And I'll do the same on these walls, because once I put the plank up, I'm going to put the back wall up first, then I'm going to do the side walls. So I'm going to put the plank up, I'll measure out 10 inches, make a mark, measure here, and do that on each wall. So it's a lot of measuring every single plank just to be sure. So I'll go from there. Okay, this first one, I want to make sure it's going to fit, and it does, nice and tight. These are 1/2 inch thick, so I've got a little play in the corners. The last thing I'm going to do after it's urethaned and all sealed up, I'm going to put a little bead of silicone up in the corners, but that's down the line. A lot of urethane to be put on. So the tub has this lip around it, and I don't want this board sitting right down on it. I want it raised up just a little bit. The idea is water running down this, being tongue and groove, water will hit, it can't run uphill and over the tongue to get to the back. But I don't want the bottom of this, even though cedar doesn't rot, I don't want, or it takes forever to rot, I don't want it sitting in water. So all I do is put a little spacer in. I got this little piece, I'm going to cut off a corner, cut it in half, put it on either side to raise this up just that little 1/4 inch. Just enough so any water running down will hit this and can run into the tub. Or if it runs down into the corner, it's got a chance to get out. So let me cut this in a couple of pieces, and this is just a piece I ripped, squared up a 2x4. So it's just a small piece I happen to have laying around. So let me get this cut up and we'll get in and put this in. What I'm going to do is I'm using some Gorilla heavy duty glue. I'm going to glue it to the wall. I'm going to tack it in right in the corners with the brad nailer and some short brads, and I'll hit the bottom 2 corners, but I'm going to hit I'm above this, but I'm going to hit it where the tongue is, just to hold it in place to give this a chance to the adhesive to dry. And as I go, I'm going to put a bead of adhesive along the back edge of this, just to seal it up from a little bit more from vapors and stuff like that. So yeah, let me get this cut up into spacers, and we'll put this first piece in and then go from there. Also important to note is that this has a rough side and a smooth side, and goes without saying I'm putting the smooth side out. And I'm trying to be careful not to get adhesive on the actual tub, because that would be bad. Nope, I don't think it's feeding. All right, so let me get going on this and try to get this all done today. All right, so I got almost all of it done, but it comes out to about a 2-inch gap up here at the top, and it doesn't make any sense for me to go out and spend the $14 to buy another 8-foot piece just to rip 2 inches off of it when I got a whole lot of these little ends left. So we're just going to piece it around, and what I did was I cut the backside of the groove off, and then I cut a little bit of a bevel, because that way it'll slide right up into place and I can just tack it up there. So I'm gonna put a little bit of adhesive on the back and just piece these around, and I will show you the finished product. Well, the tub surround is got all the cedar up. I do like the way that dark board. We got to urethane it, of course, and seal the corners and put plumbing in, but I do like the way this looks. So a lot of cedar in this bus, because that complements the aromatic cedar in the toilet room right across the hall. So with that, I'm going to leave you with this video and move on to the next one, which is going to be kitchen, because the stove's finally here and the sink's here, and I started making the countertop. So I'll show you that in the next video. See you later, YouTube.